Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to another session brought to you by Accent Nominees. Your host for today is Tomi Ogunleye, as you know, and the topic we'll be discussing is consequences of corporate infringement in Nigeria, which we are going to be using on our one and only Jagun as a case study. So a few months after the movie Jagun was released, while we were busy hyping it, we were busy watching. Some of us were going on Netflix to download, recommending it to other people, giving accolades to the, script writer, to the actors. Most people, some of us, we even have our favorite actor. But the sad part about it is that the movie found itself entangled in a legal battle of piracy or corporate infringement, as I would put it. So, as of recent, they caught a man, pirating the movie and reselling without the consent of the owner or of the producer, or you know what I mean, of the owner. So copyright is a legal concept, and it's a form of intellectual property protection that it grants exclusive rights to the creators for a specified period of time. There's an exclusive right to creators of original works, not copied works. It has to be an original work for a specified period of time. So these are exclusive rights that is granted on creators. It allows creators to control how their work is being used, how it is distributed, and how they can make profit. Because they can make profit from it. So this copyright, this copyright protection will protect it from a third party, and then it also allows creators to control how their work is being used, how it is being distributed. Okay, most times they give other people consent to use it. You can't use that particular work except you get consent from the owner. So copyright applies to various forms of works, types of creative works, which could include literary work, artistic work, musical and dramatic works, as well as software, architectural designs, and other intellectual property. So when you're thinking, or when you're talking about copyrights, and you're okay, what's the meaning? So the main aspect and meaning of copyright would actually include exclusivity, meaning exclusive rights. As a owner, or as the owner of the copyright, it will provide you exclusive rights to that particular work, and you can typically you have the right to reproduce, you have the right to distribute, which platform you want it to be distributed on, and perform, and who you want to display the work. So in essence, it will give you, the creator, the authority to decide who can use your work and how your work can be distributed, or how your work can be used. So when you're thinking of copyright, the number one thing that comes to mind is exclusivity, meaning you have the exclusive rights. You are excluding other people from using it except you are giving your consent, which is what the man they arrested did not do. He was pirating the movie Jagun without the consent of the owner. Most times, I know we need to make money. Times are tough. Times are tough. Things are hard. But let's face it, things like this should not be done. Intellectual property, once registered, is protected by the law, and you could be sued for infringing on any part or any aspect of intellectual property. If you've been joining our session, you will now have been speaking about various types of intellectual property, which trademark is one of them. And trademark is not the same thing as a copyright. Just in case you are like having, trademark and copyright are not the same thing. So I will get back into it. So when you're thinking of copyright, what will come to mind is limited duration. Of course, you are registering it. The protection is not for life, is not indefinite. So it has a definite duration, which it varies from country to country. Some countries you have 50 years protection, some 70 years, and then after that 70 years you renew the protection on the creative work. Then some countries, it could be after the lifetime, 50 years after the lifetime of the owner of the creator's work, after their death. Sometimes they start counting from their lifetime, while some of them is after their lifetime. So after this copyright expires, of course you have to renew from going to the necessary bodies to renew your copyright protection. If not, you are leaving it open for a third party to infringe on your right, and you cannot do anything. I think that's one of the reasons of having a copyright or having it registered, because automatically the law protects you, protects your work, and you can sue any other person that may be infringing on your work. So which is limited duration. So don't think it should be is for life. It's not for life. Oh. There's a particular there's a specified period of time on a copyright. You should ask your lawyer or person helping you with your copyright to give you necessary information on how many years your copyright would last. Is it during your lifetime or is it after your lifetime? So it will be wise for you to ask. So the next one, when you're talking about copyright, it means the originality of the work comes from the creator itself. Like I can't go and copyright the stuff and it's not mine. Some people do it. I would not advise you. I can't. It has to be original work for it to be eligible for copyright protection. The work must be original and it must be in tangible form. I'm sure you're wondering what is tangible form. Then it must be like in a book, maybe painting, recording, or digital file. Which Jagun the movie was. It was in an original form. They released the recording. Should I say a movie? Because basically it was a recording. People came together to record the movie, and then they released the movie. And somebody somewhere was trying to copy what they've done just to resell without the consent of the owner. So the fourth one is automatic protection. Like I said earlier, once you've registered your copyright, it automatically assumes protection. How do I put it? As soon as as soon as you register, it protects it. Your work qualifies, and it's and if it's in tangible form, like I said, it qualifies. So creators do not need to do too much. Once your work is being registered, it automatically assumes protection. It is being protected, and for the fact that it's being protected, that is the reason why you will have the right to sue, because it is being protected by the law. And then but when we are talking about copyright, and you are saying you are the only one with, sometimes we have fair use or fair dealing. Copyright law often includes exception for fair use. Some countries now, how will I put it? It is limited to use of copyright material without permission for the purpose of, maybe you want to criticize the work, maybe for school or for news reporting, then feel free to use it. But for fair dealing, not as if you are trying to make profit from another person's work without consent. So this specific criteria for what constitutes fair use, it usually varies from jurisdiction to jurisdiction. So you can reach out to your lawyer to know what the particular jurisdiction you are is talking about fair use or fair dealing. In case you're trying to use that as a defense for copying other people's work, I hope you know what you're doing. And then the sixth one is monetary and moral rights. Like I said, you can make profits from your copyright. Copyright grants creators both economic rights and moral rights. So in terms of economic rights, it would involve you. It will give you the ability to make profit from such creative work. And then while moral rights could actually include, your rights to be attributed as the creator. They know you as the creator. They know that the work is yours. And then also the right to object to derogatory treatment of their work. Okay, for the fact that you are the owner of the work, it gives you rights to say no to other people. Like, no, you can't do this. You can't. Why would you try to recreate my work without my consent? And you're trying to make profit of it. You have the right. It gives you that right. So monetary and moral rights. That was when you're thinking of copyright, you also think of that. So the other one I'm talking about is infringement and enforcement. So when someone uses a copyright work without your permission or without your consent, and in a way that violates your exclusive rights, I said exclusivity, it constitutes copyright infringement, and you can sue. That, I think I've been saying sue since morning, but that's it. So copyright holders, as a copyright holder, you have a legal right to enforce your rights through legal actions. Seeking remedies like damages, injunctions. Injunction means order from the court, telling the other party not to infringe on your copyright anymore. Telling them, it could even be Anton Pillar order. I like this order so much. Where before the next court hearing, or maybe the court has adjourned the matter to so date, and you know that before that particular hearing, the person would have destroyed that property. What you do is seek for Anton Pillar order. So when court grants you that order, you have to go to the person's house, or they send officers to go and pack that item, that pirated copies of movies, maybe books, they will tell you to go and bring it till the next hearing, meaning meaning before the next session, the property will not have been destroyed. I think that's one of the aim of it. So you can seek remedies like that. You can also, how will I put it, seek for removal of such infringing content. You can seek that they destroy that property, that the person's property that has been infringing on your copyright. So copyright infringement in Nigeria, as in many other countries, they have serious legal and financial consequences. I think most people don't know, because I remember from primary school, since before I was even born, people have been trying to infringe on other people's copyright, pirating movies. But let's face it, it is actually against the law, and you could face legal and financial consequences. So Nigeria, because I know most say in Nigeria, Nigeria also have copyright laws in place that would protect, and that is actually protecting intellectual property rights here in Nigeria, for creators, and violation of these laws can lead to various penalties and repercussions. So I would advise you not to do it. So I'm sure you're wondering, but I did not mention what you will face now. Now I want to mention what you might be facing, the penalties you might be facing for copyright infringement in Nigeria. Let's go. So the first one is legal action. Like I've been mentioning, sue. So this legal action, copyright owners or their authorized representative. When I told you, they could give someone like they could authorize a representative on their behalf. So a corporate owners or their representative, they have the right to take legal actions against you if you are the infringer, or entities that has been infringing on their copyrights. And it may also include filing a lawsuit. I would sue you. My lawyer would do the right thing. I don't want to tell you what the lawyer would do. You can reach out to us if you want to know what the lawyer would do. So the second one is damages and compensation. So in the process of taking you to court or filing a action in court, most people would seek for compensation, because if not for the fact that you've pirated that movie, do you know how much I would have made? Most times, piracy actually stops the creator or the copyright holder from making profits. It stops them. It has economic value, like I said, monetary value, economic value. So once you start pirating movies like that, it will no longer have that value anymore. So like a paid copyright holder, if I'm the one, I could actually request for damages and compensation. So if a court finds that that copyright infringement that actually happened, and the infringing party may have maybe you might have made profit, even if you've not made profit, the court will actually require that you pay compensation and damages to the copyright owner. So the amount of damages, I know you're saying it might be 1,000 naira per day, because I know that most of them say 1,000 naira per day from the day the defaulting parties, stuff like that. But the amount you have to pay actually varies depending on the infringement and the losses that was suffered by the copyright owner or holder. And I feel like it varies based on jurisdiction. So the third one is injunction. I think I've said that once, but I'll say it again. So what is an injunction? It is an order that is granted by court to stop the accused from further infringing on the creator's copyright. So court may issue injunctions to stop the infringing activities immediately. Maybe you filed an action against the infringer. So this means that the infringing party may be ordered to cease all activities that is relating to infringing on the copyright work. And that is why that Anton Pillar order comes in. It is also one of these injunctions. It depends on what you are seeking for. It could be just injunction. It could be Anton Pillar order. That is where they would search your house, pack those things, and keep it in the next court hearing, so that you will not be able to destroy the properties or the pirated works. Just imagine the Jagun guy that pirated the movie. I'm very sure that would have pirated copies either in his house or in his shop or in his warehouse that he plans on distributing, and he has been distributing. So when he hears that they are looking for you, you've been pirating movies, it's an action. You start packing everything. Let me go and destroy. They must not catch me. So when I get to court, I can deny. That is the reason why that order, that injunction will now come in. They're basically stopping him from doing that thing he has been doing till they give judgment. So seizure and destruction of infringing materials, which is where I was talking about the Anton Pillar order. So the Nigerian law actually allows for seizures and destruction of infringing copies of copyrighted works. So it would include music, books, movies and other materials that have been produced or distributed without the consent of the copyright owner or holder. I want to say this again, Anton Pillar order. I just like that order. Pardon me. So the fifth one is criminal penalties. I'm sure from what I've been saying, you'll be saying, really just to pay damages, it's just to pay compensation. We'll pay now because you feel like you've made a lot of money. And what is penalties? What is compensation? What is damages that you cannot pay? But let me break your heart. There's criminal penalties. So in several cases of copyright infringement, criminal charges can be brought against the infringing party. If convicted, individuals can you might actually face fine or punishment, or you might actually be facing both. Imagine they are sentencing you to prison and you will be paying fine. Like, what's that? You're bigger than that now. Don't do that. That's why it will be better how will I put it? You comply with the law. You do things that align with the law. So the sixth one I'm talking about is civil lawsuits, which is the opposite of the criminal penalties, which is So corporate owners can actually file civil lawsuit against you to protect their rights. So in these cases, they may seek for injunctions, damages, and other remedies they feel like they should be requesting from the courts. And then reputation damage. Beyond legal consequences, when you are being found guilty of a copyright infringement, it could actually damage your reputation. Or imagine it was a company that was infringing on a person's copyrights, then your organization's reputation would actually be facing a long-lasting effect on their personal or business life, and it will not make sense. Because imagine the stress it took you to be able to reach or get the reputation you have today, just for you to lose it because you refuse to comply with the law. So it is important that you know that these specific consequences of copyright injunction in Nigeria may actually vary on circumstances of each case, and the sensitivity and how will I put it, the how severe the infringement was, how severe it was. So to avoid these consequences, individuals, businesses, organizations in Nigeria should respect copyright laws, and you must obtain necessary permissions. Don't just it's on Netflix now, and I have record on my phone. Let me record it, and I'm gonna be producing the movie. What's there? Some people even extract the song. Maybe they sang like 3 songs in the movie. They would extract the song, and then you see I'm selling. Not even you will hear I'm selling the soundtracks to Jagun. I have 3 soundtracks because say you be the one who let me do 1,000. Uncle, please don't do that. It is actually against the law, because most times we see it as cruise, but let's face it, it is against the law, and it will not be wise. And then there's no ignorance in law. Imagine you are facing trial and you're hearing, but I didn't know, it was just cruise, and the court will never even want to understand it's just cruise with you, because as grown as you are, you should be able to know about the law. So it is, if there's no ignorance in law, so you need to seek necessary permissions when using a copyrighted material, and seek legal advice. This is important. So when you're in doubt about copyright issues, you ask your lawyer, seek for legal advice. And additionally, copyright owners should be vigilant, in protecting their intellectual property rights and enforcing them through legal means when necessary. Shebi is just one person. Let's leave him. Let me put it like that. Please, I hope you understand that part. So once you start overlooking, other people would want to do what that other person is doing. But now that you are taking action against one person, you see people doing things like that would desist because they don't want to be facing legal actions. They don't have money to pay, and they don't want their reputation to be damaged or to be tainted. So they would have to do the right thing. It is when you take necessary steps. These people, most times, we just in this Nigeria, the piracy is too much. It's too much, and why are you not doing the right thing? You know the right thing to do if it's to sue. And most times, why most people don't want to sue is because they've not taken the necessary, they've not obtained permission, or they've not they've not protected it, or they've not registered it. Is why they're not doing the right thing. I would advise you to do the right thing. I hope you're going to get one or two things from today's session, and feel free to drop your questions in the comment section below, and do not forget to follow us on our social media platforms, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on TikTok. We are basically on all social media platforms at Accent Nominees and at Law Accent. So thank you for joining us. I hope to see you same time next week. Your host still remains Tomi Ogunleye.